Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Yak Gadget. For all your kayak fishing accessory needs, go to yakgadget.com. Pelican cases, coolers, and lighting. Go to pelican.com. The 153 Bait Company. For all your hard and soft bait needs, go to the153anglers.com. Now let's get this show started.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Bass Thumbs Fishing Podcast, where we are constantly trying to keep our thumbs ripped up. Tonight, got a very, very special episode. Got the Bass Nation Kayak Champion, Mr. Mark Pendergraf, on the show tonight. Really excited to have him on. I was out there at the tournament as well. There was like 144, 145 anglers out there competing for the coveted championship for bass. It was a really fun event, and Mark put up some insane numbers and had a great tournament, obviously, and ended up being the first winner of the event ever in history. So really excited to hear his story tonight. A couple little things. By the time you guys hear this episode, my new kayak will be completely rigged and done. Cannot wait to show you guys my new rig for 2022. It's going to be pretty sick. Got two Lowrance HDS Live 7s, got the active target, got the motor guide up front, and running the Bonafide P127. And I seriously cannot wait to show you guys. And it's going to be all powered by Dakota Lithium. So first tournament's coming up soon too, with the ABA Kayak Series out here at Lake Paris. If you guys haven't registered yet, you'll have a couple weeks from the time you guys hear this episode to go ahead and get registered. So really exciting things happening out here in California. Kayak Bass Nation is kicking off Lake Shasta. So just really anxious to get the season started, but that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and bring in the PK Possum King. Right? Is that your nickname? Possum
yeah,
King?
that's the name I winded up with. Thanks to Shane Williams, he dubbed me the Possum King, and it kind of stuck.
Hey, man. Well, you definitely earned that for sure. Welcome to the show, man. Good to have you here. Yeah. I don't think we ever officially met in person at the tournament, but I was out there with you guys, and it was such a blast to be out there and be a part of that, especially being the first one. So I can't wait to hear, kind of just walk through the day of like your tournament, because you definitely had the best one out of all of us. So
I mean, it was simple. Free fishing. I had a good pattern, running bluff walls with a crankbait. Day one.
Well, before we get into it, Mark, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself. This show is mostly kind of Western region driven, but obviously just all kayak fishing, and you won pretty much like the most coveted title in kayak fishing. I would say it's, arguably one of the most coveted titles. And I would, it would be cool to kind of introduce yourself to the show. Just, kind of say who you are and maybe how old you are, what kayak you run, and just a little intro about yourself.
All right. Mark Pendergraf. I got into kayak fishing probably about 6 years ago now. Bought an inflatable, and that lasted all of a month. And I found myself in a Wilderness Commander shortly after that. Ran a bunch of local trails, ended up qualifying for a couple KBF Nationals. And then when the Big Trail Hobie opened up all their open series, I started fishing those, and then started fishing bass as well. Kayaks, I've been with Old Town. This will be my third year coming up with them. I started in the Predator, and then I've worked my way all the way to an Autopilot 136 now.
Nice. Yeah, that's a sick boat. It's really sick. What kind of graphs do you run? What kind of electronics you got going on?
Last year I ran the Lowrance Hook 2 12-inch. This year I'll be running Garmin 93 SVs. Just a basic unit right now with the brand new transducer that they have out. Yeah. And then here in about a month or two we'll be adding the live scope to it and getting it all rigged up.
Nice. Okay, one question I ask all my guests, kind of hence the name Bass Thumbs Fishing. Mark, have you ever kind of looked at maybe your wife or one of your buddies after a long day of fishing and kind of bragged about how ripped up your thumb is?
I have, and my wife didn't really care. So she's like, "That's great. The yard needs to be mowed." I was like, "All right."
Have you ever made your thumbs bleed?
I have. There was a time at Lake Welsh. I went out and caught about 50 fish, and like it was starting to hurt to hold them, and it took like a week for the thumb to heal.
Yeah.
It was pretty shredded after PK as well.
So are your thumbs ripped like the whole entire year pretty much? Like do you just keep them ripped?
Pretty much once season starts, I don't really stop fishing.
Yeah.
So my thumb's always pretty sore. I got little cuts and bruises in it all the time. So
Especially after the PK event, your palm was probably ripped, huh?
yeah, I had it all the way down to the bottom part of my thumb down there on some of those
Dude,
fish.
that's the best. That's the best. When it goes into the palm area, you probably won the event.
Yeah. When you can fit your whole hand in a fish's mouth every time,
Yeah.
it's pretty special.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool, man. I kind of start that off every time I start the show to kind of break the ice and kind of talk about that because that's something that's kind of helped me on my social media, kind of promoting like the whole Bass Thumbs. I don't know, like the whole Bass Thumbs look and feel, and it just relates to everyone that bass fishes because that's
except for the
bass
guys
fishing.
that wear gloves. They don't understand what it's like.
You know what's funny is I actually wear gloves, but I
Oh.
have them like half on my thumb because I gotta like rip it up for sure. But
Understandable.
I cut it, but I use fish monkey gloves because I hold the fish like I put a death grip on the fish when I take a picture.
Okay.
So I feel like it helps me a little bit, but no, but so let's kind of go into your your massive, I would say massive victory that you had last year. How did you qualify first? Let's start about how did you qualify for the event?
Qualified for the championship by way of Wisconsin, La Crosse, Wisconsin. I placed 11th in that event up there.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yeah, that was a crazy trip that time. Up and down, fished the tournament, all within 4 days.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So wait, so was it a Bass Nation or was it part of the circuit?
It was part of the Open Series.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't fish the Bass Nation events, the state level events.
Okay.
There's just too much travel on the national events, and then I got our North Texas club that I try and fish as frequently as possible to support Duke Tran and them.
Yeah, that was the next question I was going to ask you, like, what part of Texas are you from, or what city?
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, man. Dude, when I was out there for the tournament, my wife and I, we stayed in Fort Worth, and we stayed at a hotel downtown, and dude, we went to a piano bar, bro. It was so fun. We had Pete's Piano Bar. Yeah.
It's
dude,
awesome.
we just had an absolute blast, bro. Like the city of Fort Worth, like downtown, just the whole city thing is just like, it just blew me away, and it blew my wife's mind too, because when she thought of Texas, because we're from California, so when she thought of Texas, she thought of like open plains and freaking Texas. But we just had an absolute blast, dude. You guys do it right out there for sure, no doubt.
We try our best. I mean, we got to hitch up our horses at the house and drive our cars every once in a while. But
yeah, I mean the food, the city life, everything was just so fun, dude. So I mean, hats off to the city of Fort Worth, no doubt. So let's talk about, okay, so that's how you qualified. So now, man, I just remember being out there. Let's talk about your practice, okay? How was your practice at PK? Wait, actually, sorry, Mark. I'm kind of all over the place. Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you, when the tournament was at Louisville, what were your thoughts about Louisville? How did you feel about going to Louisville at first? Because then they threw us the curveball for PK.
Louisville, I was not thrilled about it all. I would have been happy just to make it out of that tournament alive on that lake.
I heard it's pretty tough there.
It's like pretty dicey in the summer. There's a lot of pleasure boaters out there, and most of them are drunk and they just don't care.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was looking at it, and it definitely seemed tough, but it seemed like, I don't know. I kind of heard the same thing about PK at first too. Like I heard PK was kind of like going to be tough, and then it definitely looked like, I mean, it was definitely the fishing was pretty dang good there.
It was a real weird experience at PK for that one. It was definitely interesting to say the least.
So how many times before, then they announced to go to Possum Kingdom. So how do you feel about that?
I like Possum Kingdom. It's still not my number one lake.
Obviously.
Yeah. I like it a lot more than I used to.
Yeah,
But no, I like Possum Kingdom. I've always done real well there in pre-fishing. Then it's always let me down on tournament day. Was my previous pass with it, so I was excited and nervous about it at the same time when they switched it to Possum Kingdom.
So I don't know if you said this or not, but how many times have you been there before that event?
I fished 3 tournaments there, and I probably pre-fished it 6-7 times over the last 6 years.
So how did you do previously? Like, it sounds like you really didn't do. Like,
I've in pre-fishing I've done great, and then on tournament day I can't catch a fish to save my life. One of the first experiences I had there is I had a great section picked out, and I get over to my spot, and I'm sharing the water with Guillermo, and he just whistles and fish jump in his boat. So I didn't stand a chance.
Yeah. All right. Well, so in your practice day at PK, how did it go?
Practice was good. I had found fish in every location that I had hit. But I found the quality that I was looking for on the last day on a split decision to go check somewhere.
Were you able to practice the whole, like, I think it was like 3 days that we had?
Yeah, I was able to practice all 3 days. I'm lucky enough to only live about an hour and a half away. So.
Oh, okay, that's nice. Did you commute back and forth, or did you stay somewhere?
No. Cool story about that is I was going to tent camp for this event, just to make it a little bit more affordable.
Bro, it was freaking gnarly hot out there, bro.
So it was, but I had my tent and I had a canopy and I was fine because I'm never in the tent. Like I'd go to the campground to shower.
For sure.
And then I would probably leave. Well, the first night I was there, that giant storm rolled in that morning.
Yeah.
And it just mangled my canopy, soaked my tent, broke all the tent poles. Like it woke me up when my canopy landed on top of me.
Dude, that storm was insane.
I got up and went and got the truck, and I drug the tent and the canopy down the road and just threw it in the dumpster. And I called my wife. I was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go get an Airbnb." And at this time, there weren't really any, so I ended up paying a fortune for one.
Oh man!
But the guy was really nice. He let me come over first thing in the morning instead of having to wait till 3, so I could get all my stuff in. And it was a great little cabin right there in Bradford.
Wow. That's great. I know. I kind of forgot about that. It was like the second day of practice, right? It was just insanely, like the storm was just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got out there. It was the second day of practice, and that morning the storm rolled in on us.
Did you even go out?
I did. I got out later that day. Ended up just staying close to the cabin over there. It was over by Costello Island. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was like, just based off of my own like timeline, because I had like it was like a 23-hour drive from California, and yeah, so my timeline of like going to this tournament, I was able to just have 1 day of practice, and I drove the 23 hours in like pretty much 1 day. I didn't stop.
Oh my.
And well, I needed to get there, dude. I wanted to have at least 1 day of practice, you know?
Yeah.
So I got there, and I remember on my way out, I was staying with Gene Flukemaster and Greg Blanchard and Jason Borofka. And I call them up and I'm like, haha, you guys can't go out today. Cause I was like driving in and I was like, everyone can't practice today, so I'm not missing too much, you know? But yeah, then the next day we were able to go out and practice. So how did you feel the day before the event?
The day before the event, I felt good. I thought I had a solid pattern enough to get me in the top 30 and catch a check. That was my main goal.
So I was kind of holding this back a little bit because we're kind of about to get right into it. But so for those of you that don't know the story about Mark and this event especially, he literally didn't even travel, can I say 100 feet from the ramp?
Yeah, about 100 feet, 25 yards, something like that.
So did you find that spot in practice?
So that spot, it holds fish year round. They're pretty hard to catch sometimes.
Is it cool if you explain kind of like what it is, or do you not want to give it away?
No, everybody knows where I was. It's fine. I find people there all the time now.
Yeah.
It's the Bluffs Marina boat ramp. That marina, it holds fish year round. There's a lot of carp in the area, so when you're graphing, you don't know what you're actually getting into.
Yeah.
It could be a big school of carp, which you could see them pretty well on the finder.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be a little handful of big bass in there.
So is it a ramp with riprap, or is it just a ramp?
It's a retaining wall with a ramp.
Yeah. Okay. So day one, did you know that you were just gonna? Did you juke anyone out, or did you just stop right away, or did anyone launch with you?
I didn't plan on fishing the boat ramp at all.
Okay.
I was on a whole different pattern. That was kind of like a Hail Mary last resort. I'm gonna lose anyways type thing.
So when did you? Oh yeah, you got to the boat ramp late, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd been fishing bluff walls. And I had found a consistent pattern. And tournament day, the size of fish just wasn't there anymore, and I only had 4 by like 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I headed back to the boat ramp at that point.
And you get back to the boat ramp, and you were firing like a deep diver.
Yeah, I was dredging a crankbait. First cast caught like a 7-pound striper. The next cast I caught a sand bass. I think I caught another sand bass right after that. And at this point, I'm just completely defeated.
That's fun. Well, it still probably like picked you up a little bit.
It did, and I was like, if I'm going to hook fish for the last 30 minutes of a tournament, I mean, I might as well do it with these. I didn't
realize it was the last 30 minutes. Are you serious?
Yeah.
This all happened how many inches did you have when you showed up to the ramp with 4 fish? How many inches?
I think I had like 58 inches on 4 fish.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so you pull up to the boat ramp, you catch a few fish, and then you throw it back out there. And then what was your first good one?
First good one was 19.5. And then
it was same spot as you caught the other ones.
No, it was actually, I caught the striper and the sand bass on the right side of the boat ramp, and I caught all the black bass on the left side of the boat ramp.
Wow. So in 30 minutes, you caught like 97 inches or whatever. 98
it was
inches.
Not 97 inches day one, I think.
Yeah, I had it pulled up earlier. So 97 inches. I remember my first like 3 casts of the event, I caught a 19.75 on a chatterbait, and I was freaking fired up, dude. And then I ended up scratching out limit day one. But I remember like the first 2 hours, I think it was, and I looked at the leaderboard, and I see Joe McElroy. He had like 107 or something like that. And I was are you serious? 107 is like insane. And don't say day 2 yet. I don't want to talk about day 2 yet.
Okay.
But 107, I was just like, are you serious? And then I see I think someone else had 100 too, like Drew Gregory or someone.
Yeah, it was Drew Gregory.
Yeah. And then you were there with like 97, and then there was like a couple guys. Yeah, a couple guys were there. Yeah, 97 in 4th place. PK was just like absolutely putting out for sure.
It was spitting big fish.
So you caught 97 inches in 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Tell me how that felt, dude.
Life-changing.
It was just one after another.
It was just one after another. It was crazy. Justin Faircloth was over there. He saw the whole thing. There's a young kid that piddles around the marina right there. He works part-time and helps out over there. But he literally just sat at the end of a walkway and watched me for 30 minutes. He's like, I've never seen anything like that. I was like, I haven't either, kid.
Oh my gosh, bro. So you bag 97 inches. You're 4th place. You get out of the water and you're getting ready for day 2. Obviously going back to the boat ramp. What's going on in your head? Like, how do you feel? How'd you feel?
Oh, I felt pumped. I was like, man, I'm in 4th place. I have a chance at top 10 now.
Yeah.
And I knew I was pretty much going to hit the boat ramp just to see.
Yeah.
And if it didn't work, I was going to revert back to my original pattern.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't do a lot of retying or replanning, or I pretty much ran to the cabin. I think I showered.
Made sure you had all your crankbaits.
Yeah. Made sure I had some divers. I actually called the local tackle shop. He was closed.
Dude, that was such a pain, bro. I lost all my chatterbaits, and there's like nothing around there.
No, there's one in Bradford, and he was closed, and I called.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man, I'll be there. I've got work that we're doing on our other business over there. He goes, I'll grab some, and you can come in and get them. I was like, sweet. I appreciate it.
Nice.
So I did that.
Oh, that's sick. Yeah, dude. I remember trying to scramble because I was on like a black and blue green pumpkin chatterbait bite, and I only bought 3 of them, and I was throwing it in the buckbrush, and I lost all 3 of them, dude.
Mm.
But anyways, so going into day 2, you get there. Or no, what after day 1 did anyone reach out to you? Did Bass reach out to you? Your friends were probably blowing you up. Like how did that night go?
I had to go back to the community center and talk with Old
Yeah.
Town. They want to do a little day 1 recap interview.
Sick.
Bass told me they're sending the camera boat. Old Town was coming with their own camera boat, and had friends and family will reach out. They're like, "Hey man, go get it tomorrow and whatnot." And pretty much, I did everything I could to take my mind off of fishing, which I typically do at tournaments anyways. And I just went out and met my boys at the bar, and we hung out till about 1 in the morning. Went to bed and got after it the next day.
All right, so you launch your kayak day 2. Do you are people with you too? Is there a bunch of people there?
There was about 5 or 6 guys. There was Daniel Lyons from up in Tennessee. Justin Faircloth was there, and a couple other guys that I didn't know. But yeah, they're all just sitting there waiting.
And were you able, like, did you just pull out and stop, or did you juke them out a little bit, or what?
No. Daniel had caught a fish off the boat ramp earlier that day before I did. So I chatted with him. I was like, "Hey man, just want to let you know I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to fish the boat ramp." He goes, Don't worry about it. I've got a pattern that I've got out here." I was like, "Cool." I was like, "If you want to share water, because I know you caught a fish here yesterday, I don't mind." But he had his own thing he was going to go do.
Okay, so I did my homework a little bit because I tried to before shows. Your first fish was a 24-incher. Like first thing. Was it like
it was my second or third cast?
Bro, what were you thinking? That's a 2-footer. That's a 24-inch fish, guys.
Yeah.
Are you listening? 24 inches on day 2, just right out of the gate.
Man, he was a little over 9 pounds.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, it was a big fish.
You throw out there, you hook that thing. You got to tell me the story of that fish, bro. Like, just tell me when you hook it and how it fought and everything. Just go ahead, bro.
I casted out the crankbait and I was running it down. And I mean, not just that fish, all fish, but it was like setting hooks in the bags of concrete. Like they were just trucking that crankbait, and they just like put on the brakes as soon as you set the hook. And
oh my gosh, dude,
it was nuts. I hit him, he jumped. I saw him. I started freaking out because I knew it was huge. I finally got him to the boat, and I probably shook for another good 2 hours after that, just after that one fish.
Oh yeah, no doubt. So did he have all the trebles in him, or did he have one in him, or was there any more drama?
No, it was. I mean, I think I only lost one that jumped and spit the hooks. They stayed hooked pretty well.
Wow, that's crazy. So let's kind of stop for 1 second, really quick.
Okay.
And let's talk about your crankbait setup. What's your setup that you run?
So I don't typically throw big crankbaits, so I was throwing it on a heavy rod with about 12-pound fluorocarbon on I think it was a 681 reel.
So how deep was it diving? What was your depth?
I would start it at 2 and it'd run down to about 11. But it's
okay.
It's made to go to about 20 feet.
Yeah. Is it one of your X-Sight crankbaits? Or is it different?
It was not, unfortunately. It was a Strike King 6XD.
Because I think they just kind of recently came out with a deep diver, right?
They do. It's not a deep diver; it's a medium diver.
Oh, okay.
I've actually got them.
Yeah.
It's the XB. There we go.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
No man, I caught a few of my fish on the XB1, like the louder crank, the square bill.
Yeah, the one that has a knocker in it.
Yeah, the knocker, dude. I love throwing that bait, dude. That's probably my number one square bill for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's a phenomenal. I mean, as far as short, shallow dive and square bills go, it is top of the line. It runs great. It makes noise. The silent versions work just as well. So
yeah, I remember when they first released that it was going to PK. I really try to do as much homework as I can because I know that I can't get a lot of practice in. And I went to Matt Scotch's Instagram and I started just like diving into his Instagram, and I found a post like probably a year and a half before that. And he talked about the XB1 square bill back at Possum Kingdom like a while, like a year and a half before that. So I was messaging him on the side a little bit too, and we talked at that dinner that we had before day one. And I was giving him a hard time about, I know that XB1 works here, bro.
It does.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what Brad Case was throwing. He found one tied up on the bank and cut it free and used it for the tournament. But he was throwing a little square bill as well.
Yeah, another one that was kind of doing well there because the water was like super dirty. So I mean that knocker was definitely a plus for sure. I mean when I talk dirty, this water was like there was like I would say no visibility. Yeah,
no it was
visibility.
Mud.
Yeah, and like if you found cleaner water, like cleaner meaning like you could see 6 inches.
Yeah. Being on the water from first day of practice to last day of practice, you got to see that mud line move the entire lake all the way to the dam.
I mean, being out from California, I've never experienced anything like that before, and it was so fun, dude. That's why, the jackhammer, I was just like, this is a no-brainer for me because that's like my confidence bait. And the XB1 I was throwing, but I mean, and I was catching them flipping a D-bomb too.
Okay.
I ate the D-bomb pretty good. But anyways, so kind of going back, okay, so you caught the 24-incher, and then it was just lights out from then on. Like you had 112 inches by like 8 o'clock, right?
110.
110.
And I cold up a little bit after 8.
Okay. I remember looking at the leaderboard at like 7:30, and now all of a sudden Mark has like 110 inches, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this place is insane. That is literally like a legendary bag. Like literally. Like
yeah.
How did you feel after you put your 5th fish in and it showed 110?
At that point, I didn't know what else to do. I still had 7 hours of fishing, and I didn't want to leave the boat ramp because I didn't want anybody else to come up on it just in case I could cold.
For sure. So did you move, or did you make the same cast for 110 inches?
I made the same cast for 110 inches. Same spot.
Wow.
I actually bird nested the reel I was using to a point, and I couldn't get it out, and I had to cut it off and just switch reels on the fly. And luckily, I had another reel in the boat that had 12-pound fluoro on it, but it was one of my old reels, and I killed it.
Oh my gosh, dude! I wish I had the picture because they got some epic pictures of you out there on the water, and I should have had that homework done already. But dude, that was so sick, man. I mean, dude, hats off, bro. Like I can't even imagine. You got to definitely live the dream out on the water for sure, especially having like your sponsor had a film boat on you and Bass was there, and then you're just catching 112 inches, and like, I mean, I can't even imagine, bro. Like, congratulations. That's something you'll never forget for the rest of your life, like no doubt.
No, I'll never forget it, and if I did, my son would remind me of it, so it's all right.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm definitely gonna get into that as well because that's something that kind of hit me too. But so when you got off the water after your whole day, okay, you caught them all on a crank, right? Yeah, all on a crank. So one after another, all on the crank. You get out of the water. You caught 112 inches. Did you think you had it in the bag?
No. I honestly, I didn't think I had it. I knew it was going to be extremely close. I knew what Joe had to catch to beat me.
What did he catch on day 2? Do you remember?
I believe it was 103.
Yeah, so he had 107.
Yeah, and then he had 103-inch day.
And then he had 103.
Wait.
Wow.
No, because that would have been 2. Yeah, that's right.
Is that what it was?
Or 102, somewhere in there. I can't remember what he had. So
Yeah.
but it was 103, 102 somewhere in there.
Yeah. So then after you get off the water, obviously, how long until like Dwayne called you and said, "Hey, like, or did they, wasn't it? Didn't they have to wait a day? Did you have to wait a whole day?
Yeah, we had to wait a whole day. He
And
called
did you
me
hear anything that night,
about whether I was going to win or not.
or just whether you were top 10 or not?"
So yeah, they called the top 10 back that day to do like a little round table.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that. And so I knew I was in the top 10. I didn't know if I had won. That night, I went to dinner with Ryan Lambert, Josh Evans, Dylan Lowry, and Lambert was with Joe during all that. He goes, "Dude, I don't know." He goes, because he didn't lie. He
Yeah.
said Joe was using a notepad to keep track of his fish and like mark them out. He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "It's going to be super close." He goes, "I really don't know." I was like,
Wow.
so we went out that night and then showed up at the expo the next day.
Yep. And I was there. So let's kind of go into that day. So I went to the expo as well. I was hanging out with the guys from One Objective, Josh and James, and then I was hanging out at the cash-in booth as well. And then I was able to get into the ceremony with Billy Hayden from Cash-in.
Okay.
He's like their main like marketing, kind of photographer dude. So like we literally, because they weren't letting anyone in. It was like the weirdest thing ever. It was like the most stressful thing ever because I wanted to see. Yeah, I wanted to see you guys. I wanted to see you guys up there because we had Jason Borofka from our house.
Yeah.
He made it in the top 10, and I just was like, dude, I am in Texas. I am at the expo. I want to see like these guys lift these trophies up. Like I'm not gonna just like not see it. I'm right here. So anyways, me and Billy were able to get in with his like we were able to get in like through the back door with his, I'm drawing a blank on what it is, like photography tag. Yeah, whatever it was. So we got in there and okay, so I'm in there, but now let's talk about like what was the experience like having like that backstage feel? Did you meet anyone? Did you see anyone? Like, did you see any pros or anything? Or how did that all go for you?
Day two, the second day after they had presented my trophy is when I got to meet all the pros and I went backstage and shook all their hands, said hi, took pictures with them.
Wait, let's hold on. So let's talk about before you won. Like,
Okay.
what were you experiencing then? Like, did they take you into a room or did they? Where did they have you guys?
They just had us right there backstage behind the curtain because we'd have to walk all the way out because the stage was in the middle of the arena.
Yeah.
So they just had us hang out back there until it was time.
And were you just dude? Were you like tripping out? You're about to be on like this stage with like at the Bassmasters Classic.
I was a mess. I was mic'd up for Old Town, and so I was trying to watch what I was doing or saying. But yeah, it was definitely an experience being back there. The Bass people were coming up, talking to us, telling us what we're going to have to do, the order, how we go up on stage, where we stand, have it all rehearsed and ready to go, so somebody didn't just fall off the stage.
Yeah. Okay, so they bring you guys on stage and they're announcing 10th. They had top 10, right?
Yeah, top 10.
Okay, so I remember Casey Reed took 10th, and then they just kept going up from there. And you're like, I watched the whole thing personally, so it was sick. So I remember just seeing they go down to like 3 guys, and then I think it was like Brad Case, right?
Brad Case got 3rd.
Yeah, and then it came down when they announced Brad Case, and it's just you and Joe. Like, tell me what you're feeling right then. Like,
man, I don't know really if I can put it into words.
Yeah.
I was just super excited to be there, to have the opportunity to stand up there.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was beside myself in my mind.
Yeah.
So.
And then I think if I remember this right, they announced Joe first, right?
They did. They announced second place, and then that told me I was the winner.
Okay, so they announced Joe, and you just won the first ever Bass Nation Kayak Championship.
I cried.
Yeah.
A lot.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. No doubt. and they give you that trophy and you hold it up and it's just like you're literally at the pinnacle. Like arguably, dude, like there's KBF National Championship, there's Hobie, BOS, you know, TOC, but Bass is like what we've all watched growing up, something that we've literally dreamed about, being on the Elite Series and qualifying for the Classic, and then being at that stage on our own level as kayak anglers at like this pinnacle moment. And you raise like the first ever blue, you know, really sick. Is the trophy with you right now, or is it in the house?
It's in the living room on the mantle.
Okay. But anyways, like you lift that thing up, dude, and like just maybe just talk a little bit about it. Like, what did it feel like?
I've won a trophy and some medals and stuff, but winning a Bass trophy, especially a Bass Championship trophy, was second to none. I considered retiring after that tournament.
Seriously.
Just so I didn't catch any more L's afterwards. But
yeah.
It was an experience. Like I said, there's nothing in my fishing career that even comes close to it.
Yeah. I mean, I was just sitting there just watching you hoist it, and I was just like, just for me personally as a kayak angler, I was like, and I've seen, like I said, I've seen KBF National Championships won. I've seen the Hobie BOS Championship won. But there's just something about being on that stage in that moment, no matter how everyone kind of has a different opinion about like how it was put on, and it was early and there was barely anyone in there. Besides that, like the moment of just you hoisting the trophy in that stadium as a kayak angler is just like so awesome, bro. And just like, I just want to say personally, from a kayak angler from West Coast California, just, you know, just who I am, to you out there in Texas, man, congratulations. And like, what an amazing accomplishment, dude. That's something that I just to kind of, I guess, give you a kind of perspective from my point of view. Like, that is something that I want to do in my lifetime. Like, that's like my main goal in life as far as like kayak angling, is to hoist that trophy. And you had an opportunity to do that. So just congratulations, bro. Like, well deserved. I followed, I saw your podcast after the events too on KBN and a couple other places, but like, and I followed you after this, and it's just so cool to just like, you know, see you kind of live it out. And now it's something that everyone, I feel like, in the kayak community is aiming to do.
Yeah.
And man, it's just what an amazing accomplishment, bro. For real.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So I remember seeing that picture. We can kind of talk about that. I remember seeing that picture of you and your son with that trophy. Like, so sick, dude. Like, because I have a little boy too. He's 3, and I've won a couple club events, like local, like little events. And my trophy's like this big, but it's still a trophy. And like, he gets so stoked when I bring something home like that. I can't even imagine like what your son was thinking as well.
Yeah, he likes to run around, and like I'll be talking with people about fishing, because I've always got some kind of fishing apparel on, and people ask like, "Oh, you fish?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." Yeah. And he'll be like, "Yeah, my dad's Bassmaster." I'm like, "Spencer." He's my little cheerleader,
sick, bro. Yeah, that's super sick, bro. And that's cool, man. That's something to definitely not be. Don't feel like that, bro. Like, you won like the biggest kayak tournament, like arguably like in history, like in that moment. Like, that's sick, and the first one ever.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I mean, it sank in that I won it and all, but I mean, I'm kind of, I guess I'd like to say, I stay humble about it.
No, for sure. Yeah.
I try not to boast about it all the time, and I mean, I just want to fish and get out there and have a good time.
No, I mean, that just goes to show like good things happen to good people, and you seem, you know, just everything that I've seen. I don't know you that personal, but I mean, definitely a class act and definitely a well representative of the sport. And I just feel like it's just super cool, man. I mean, like I said, it's just something that I want to do, and you're the first person to ever do it. And I mean, it's just something that's going down in the history books of kayak fishing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is, bro. It is what it is, you know?
It's nice. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I like hearing it.
Yeah. Well, kind of going off of that now, and coming back down. So can you kind of talk about the exposure and like kind of some things that maybe opened up for you after the event?
Yeah, it definitely landed me a couple deals with new companies, stuff like that. It's allowed me to take this year and actually pursue fishing full time.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not working this year.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
sick.
so luckily I've got a great wife, good family, and we're able to make this happen this year and give it a run for its money and see where it goes.
Hey
So
man, that's super awesome, bro. That's really sick.
I'm
Hey,
gonna enjoy it.
one thing I wanted to ask you. You won, I believe it was like 20,000. Was that what it was?
20,000.
20,000. Uh, was there anything that you've been wanting for a while and that you went out and bought? There
Yeah, I
has to
bought a
be
bass
something.
boat.
You bought a bass boat,
Yeah, I bought
really?
a bass boat.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did. I
That's
bought a
sick.
2001 Express X19 with a 200 Yamaha Max on the back of it.
Dude, no way.
I
That's
did.
like your new practice rig too?
No, I'm probably not going to use it in practice. I
Yeah.
bought the boat for the family.
Oh,
That
okay.
way my boy can come with me. My youngest is still a little too young. He'd probably
Yeah.
fall off the boat instantly. But the wife can come out easier now. Like we can go out together, and that was the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
point of the bass boat because lugging around 3 kayaks isn't all that fun.
For sure, dude. I'm actually kind of I told my wife a few days ago, I was like, hey, because my kid is like casting. He's like wants to be in my garage. Like I have a similar kind of setup behind you, like, and he wants to be in there looking at all the baits. He loves it, and I'm like, hey, he's gonna want to come soon, so we're gonna need to get we're gonna need to get a bass boat soon. So yeah, I feel you on that. That's definitely something that is a huge plus about a bass boat for sure, no doubt.
It is, and
Yeah,
Spencer's been there from the very first tournament I ever entered, and I ended up winning. He was there when I got that check to the last one. So I mean, it's for him.
yeah.
It's
Is that
his
your boy
way.
Spencer?
Yeah, Spencer's my
Yeah,
oldest, and
nice.
Gavin's the terror 2-year-old.
Nice.
So
Yeah. Yeah, mine just turned 3, so we're kind of it was funny cuz like 2's honestly he wasn't that bad, but like he turned 3 like 4 weeks ago and like all of a sudden he's just like different.
yeah, yeah. So Spencer was that way. Twos were easy.
Yeah.
Threes where I was banging my head against the wall, and now we have Gavin, who from day one has been a psychotic baby. So he, this is my
Yeah.
payback. He's my payback child.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
So
thinking about our second right now cuz he just turned 3 and we've always said we wanted a 4-year gap. So the time is definitely here and
there you go.
it's really nerve-wracking, but gonna have to bite the bullet pretty soon. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But so anyways, like what were the opportunities that opened up after? Like what was it? Was it Abu Garcia?
Yeah, pure
Yeah.
fishing.
Yeah, yeah.
I joined with Abu, Ugly Stick, Spider Wire.
Nice.
Did not join Berkeley due to my relationship with Lloyd over Excite Baits.
Yeah.
He was one of my first sponsors, and I'm going to stay with him.
Nice.
So yeah, pure fishing, and then RoboHawk came on board.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, Devil
Nice,
Dog
dude.
Coffee Company, Devil Dog Brew. Mainly that's just to help support a veteran company with them. I like their coffee anyway, so why
Yeah.
not support them?
Nice. Okay, so you're the Bassmaster kayak champion. You're lined up ready to fish this whole entire season this year, obviously like full time. So kind of talk to us a little bit about like what's your plans for 2022? What are
Definitely,
you fishing this year?
I'm fishing everything I can. I'm fishing Hobie, and I'm fishing the Bass Nations, and then I'm fishing my local trails.
Okay. So when you fish the Hobie event, are you going to use a PDL?
Yes, I have a Big Water 136.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool. And then so are you fishing all the bass events as well?
It looks like I'm gonna be able to make about 4 of each this year. My son plays travel baseball, so that takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah. I bet. So what's your first event coming up right now? What's your
Bat.
season opener?
It's gonna be Lake Fork, first weekend of February with bass,
Nice. So
and
how far
then
is Lake Fork from you? Like 2 hours, 3
about an
hours?
hour and a half, about an hour
Oh,
and a half,
okay.
hour 45 minutes somewhere in there. If I'm driving at like 4 in the morning, I can usually do it in about an hour 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's I'm so jealous. Because Lake Fork's about 26 hours for me.
That's a bit of a drive. I'm going to be making a drive like that this year up to Pennsylvania. So I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, if you give yourself a couple days, I mean, or 3 days or whatever, it's not horrible. But I mean, I don't mind driving, honestly. I just I'm on the phone a lot, or I'll just watch like podcasts, or I'll watch YouTube or whatever. Just black out the whole way.
Yeah, I have ADHD, so if I turn on a TV or something, it's I'm not going to do much driving.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Lake Fork is your first season opener. So how you feeling about that one?
The lake's down 9 feet because they're repairing the dam.
Yeah, I saw that.
I like Lake Fork. I predominantly do better there in the summer. They had a healthy grass population. So I got to punch grass a lot, and I could produce decent stringers by doing that, and it's my go-to there. But now everything's out of the water, so I'm actually going to have to hone my skills and figure out where these fish are now.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how that one turns up, because now with this whole AOI race that Bass is doing too, it's just going to add more drama, more more excitement about the series. Even though I know there's a lot of people kind of upset about the series and whatnot, but I mean, I don't know. That's a whole nother podcast that we can get into.
Oh yeah,
if we really wanted to, but
that's about a 2-hour discussion.
At pretty much right now, it is what it is. The schedule's out. That's what it is. And if you want to fish and compete and hoist that trophy like Mark did, then you're just gonna have to do what they're doing.
I mean,
for the most part.
So, I mean, you got to follow the rules and play their game.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to. There's tons of options out there. I like Bass. I like the name. I'm gonna fish it. It's a competitive national event, so I'll be there. And I'll be at the Hobie event the following weekend on Toledo. So
for sure. I mean, one thing about Bass is like, it's going to be a progression, and I hope that they like continue into their 3rd year and 4th year. I feel like by the time they hit their 3rd or 4th year, hopefully they'll probably be like 2-day events and kind of just all dialed in, and hopefully they look at the schedule a little bit better and don't, cross conflict and stuff. But I mean, I think year 4 is going to be a really, really solid year. That's just my opinion.
I hope we have the attendance this year. There's a lot of people that are unhappy with the way things are playing out, that it took them long to get the schedule out. It took them long to let us know about the championship.
Oh, for sure. That was just like insane.
Yeah. I mean,
same thing last year too. Remember they literally did it last year as well. And they moved the date and everything.
Yep. And I mean, I get it. And I would like to say that it's growing pains, but we're in the 3rd year. So, I mean, they'll get it together, I hope.
Well, this is the 2nd year, right?
2nd year. So we're going into second. No.
Yeah, this is
it's 2nd year.
This is the 2nd year because last year's championship was for the.
That's right. I apologize. But
wait. It's the 3rd year.
Yeah, this is going to be the 3rd year. I thought
it's the 3rd year.
Yeah.
It's the 3rd year.
We're going into
the 3rd year.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope for a little bit more transparency.
Okay, that means I hope year 4 is better.
Yeah, year 4 will hopefully be the year. They finally are starting to get real feedback from some influential people in the sport.
For sure.
So hopefully they take that advice and decide to take it and run with it and make the changes they need to keep it going.
Yeah, that's hopefully, let's just have a positive mindset and just hopefully just people show up and they continue to do it, because we don't have any tournaments out here, but we have a good Bass Nation series that Tim Arthur put together. But so at least we have some sort of opportunity, because I just want to make it to the championship. So I've been thinking about maybe trying to fly out to one of them and kind of go that route too, because I did that 2 years ago for KBF. I was able to fly out and meet a buddy out there, and he actually drove my kayak from California to Gunnersville.
Oh wow, that was nice of him.
A great friend, yeah. But that's kind of the way that I kind of wish that, and if there's any kayak outfitter guys that are listening right now, I kind of wish that some shops, especially that are kind of local to some of these bigger bodies of water that have national events at them,
Yeah.
I wish there was like kind of like this like rental, like kind of borrow option for kayak guys that travel. That'd be pretty sick.
That would be more on the kayak companies probably to
Yeah.
have that option for them.
Yeah.
I'm about to have to go grab a phone charger. My phone's died
Oh,
on me.
okay. No, but we can kind of wrap it up from here. I mean, we kind of hit everything that we wanted to hit. So, I mean, Mark, again, congratulations, man. I really appreciate you kind of being, being on the show and kind of.
You froze.
Am I frozen?
Nah, yeah.
Uh-oh. Are we good?
I got your voice back now. There you go.
I can hear you. Okay. All right. Well, let's just wrap it up, man. So, is there anyone that you want to thank?
Oh man, there's a list of people. My wife, my family, Pure Fishing for bringing me on this year. Lloyd Walker at Excite Baits, Devil Dog Brew, RoboHawk. That's my newest sponsorship. That's going to be a great relationship right there. Anglers Pro Tackle, my local shop. Deep Ellum Brewing, my beer sponsor. So, I mean, yeah,
Nice.
the list keeps growing. I think he froze again.
Am I there? Oh, well, we just lost Mark. But anyways, we're gonna kind of wrap up the show. We're having a little bit of technical problems. I'm gonna try to have to get my Wi-Fi looked at because this is kind of the second time this has happened. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys for listening. Oh, Mark's back. Let's see.
Yeah.
Back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. I was just kind of wrapping it up. So
okay.
Anyways, thank you, bro, for being on the show. Keep your thumbs ripped this year, dude, and best of luck.
Hey, you too. I hope to see you again. All right.
All right. Stay safe, bro. I'll see you soon. Later. All right, guys. Well, that does it for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Mark Pendergraf, Kayak Bass Nation champion of 2021. Congratulations again. If you guys have any questions or anything or any show requests, I'd love to hear it. You guys can message me at Bass Thumbs Fishing on Instagram. Anyways, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for the show. Looking forward to our next guest, which kind of got a couple exciting guests coming up. Again, appreciate you guys listening. And as always, keep your thumbs ripped.